and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Oh my. I wish I had the prowess of one former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, to pick stocks, to make stock trades. Because, man, I would be just, I'd be rich like a mother. I almost said the word out loud. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. Oh, that's weird. And welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel. Is that better? Can you hear me now? Happy hump day on the Morning Night Live. It is Wednesday, of course. What's the date? I am having trouble seeing today. The 25th of September, 2024. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with myself this weekend. Because my wife's going on a little girls trip to Nashville. I like that. Nashville's a cool town. Really expensive, though, I guess, now. I mean, I haven't been to Nashville since probably 1985. And it was just kind of it was a country town at the time, but the music industry there took off because it's cheaper to record there for a lot of musicians. So it's big, not just country, but all kinds of stuff. And that's where she's going. She's going to throw on some cowboy boots. No, she's not. My wife would not be caught dead in a pair of cowboy boots. But anyway, so I'm going to be home alone. I'm going to be like putting shaving lotion on my face and shit. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful morning. I have so many tabs open that I cannot waste a lot of time. So let's say hi to everybody and get this thing started. First in the chat today, of course, Mr. Avocados Diabli gets the bell. Oh, they're a little fired up about that, aren't they? Yeah, I had a little trouble even starting my every time I set up the stream, it gives me this little delay, and sometimes it tells me, well, it didn't work. Well, apparently it is working because I'm here and you can see me, so it's working. But anyway, AD beat me again, and just how it is. Also, good morning, Ravon Harris. What's up? My favorite Canadian Jaeger ponies in the house. Good morning, Sure You Gospel. Welcome back. Good morning, number one is in the house. Good morning, Attack Alpaca. Let's see, who else is here? Johnny Boomer Tech, of course. In fact, let's pin one of Johnny Boomer Tech's things here so you can get, if you want to sponsor the show. I need sponsors. Sponsor the show. Damn. Best way to do it is through Streamlabs, where it says share the stream up there, pdognight.live, and you will get to or you can do it. You can write a lot of stuff for very little money. So, and it helps out the show, keeps the electric bill and the cable. Not cable. I have internet through the cable company, but I dumped all the other cable stuff. We don't have our home security through there anymore. We don't have cable anymore. Just our internet because it's high speed. Also, good morning to who else is here? I'm scrolling down. Anon, 1, 2, 3. Good morning, JB. What's up? Mr. Tire Alexander the Scourge. Like, that gets weirder every time I do it. Good morning, Lord Stanhope. Special can acid. Shrapnel's in the house. And Mr. Scribe Light. Dog Thrapple. Oh, there it is. I was like, where's the dog thrapple? You put it up there. Dog Thrapple. Anyway, so good start. 21 people. 8 likes. Hit the like button. Share the stream if you haven't done it already. And if you want to sponsor the show, you can hit that pdognight.live. It's pinned at the top of the chat. Or, super chats are fine too. I don't care. Venmo, Cash App, those are in the description. However you want to do it. I just appreciate you doing it if you can. And you might be but if through Streamlabs, you might be the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor. Oh, I never changed out the goal, did I? I didn't even realize that is still on the screen. What the hell is going on here? Let's see. I don't need that. Let's see. What am I looking for here? Oh, here we go. Let's fix that. That 24 days to go. How can it be 24 days to go? What was the date on that one? Okay, well, that's nice that we reached that goal, but it wasn't. That was supposed to be over a few days ago. All right, well, let's do a new one. Here we go. This is the let's see. What should I see? Oh, it'll be the grandbaby fun. Grandbaby fun, because Christmas is coming up, and I gotta start doing that. So we'll put the date out to what's the date today? It's September. We'll go October 31st. Maybe we can do some Halloween stuff with the grandbabies. 2024, and we'll make the goal. We're gonna put a lofty goal. There we go. We're gonna go 500 by Halloween. That'd be awesome, because then we can start buying Christmas presents for the grandbabies. There you go. There's the new goal. All right, and we are at 0% of that goal. So, all right, let's talk about some news, because there's a ton of it. As you know, it is Hump Day, and of course, I was trying to find a good one. Now, I noticed as I scrolled through Hump Day, there are no. I haven't seen any naked parts yet. And I didn't scroll. How far did I have to scroll down? Oh, God. So obviously I scrolled too far. Anyway, here is a classy Hump Day offering that's covered. Okay. Now, and I don't necessarily like to put these up, but this is, now this one's okay. This one's covered. She's covered up. She's, obviously got some humps there, but the one after it, I cannot show you, and I really didn't want to see it myself. Let me scroll back up to the top, though. The one of the memes that has been going around for Hump Day is this one. U.S. presidents at the beginning and end of their term. You got Barack Obama. He's all gray-haired and whatever here. Trump looked exactly the same at the end of his term. But then at the end of Joe Biden's term, well, then we have a different president, which still could happen, especially after that little incident, him trying to introduce the Indian Prime Minister Modi at that event where he just starts yelling, "Who's next?" I don't know if you saw that one. I didn't show it to you. But anyway, happy Hump Day, everybody. Couple of those in the links. Also today is National Daughters Day. And so a lot of people are posting pictures of themselves or their daughters or them with their daughters or whatever. And just yesterday, I posted on one of my Instagram accounts this little ditty with my daughter, because back at my birthday, my daughter gave me a unique birthday present. So I figured I would show it to you if you want to join me on Marty Got Jokes. That's one of my Instagram channels. Here's the post from yesterday. Let me see.
So this is my daughter, Alyssa. And for my 60th birthday, she gave me 61 cards. One birthday card and 60 dad jokes. We're going to start opening them.
All right, so that's me and my daughter. If you didn't catch, I'm going to play it one more time because I cut off the beginning by accident. Here we go.
So this is my daughter, Alyssa. And for my 60th birthday, she gave me 61 cards. One birthday card and 60 dad jokes. We're going to start opening them.
All right, so over the next several weeks, I'm going to be opening this box of cards she gave me. I think I've showed it to you here once. It was a very cute gift, and she basically gave it to me specifically for that channel, which is my joke. All I do is tell jokes on the channel. Usually they're bad jokes, but they're jokes as they can be. And so if you want to follow that Instagram, there it is. What happened here? Real quick, I got to say hi to a few people that showed up. Mike Savage Blarg. I think I already said that, but just in case. Did I miss anybody else? Anyone else show up? There is Midnight in Exile. What's up? Good morning. Also, Bob J. Boblin of FTG Farms, the CEO of FTG Farms. Always good to see you. Jedi Ghost Bears in the house. What's up? Nice to have you all here. So let's next topic, trending topic right now. Hurricane Helene is probably going to be hitting the coast of Florida in the next day? Is it today? I don't know. But that's a big story going on. Helene is on the precipice of hurricane status this morning as her rumbling Rumbling. What? Okay, so who wrote this? Back pitch weather. I'm going to read this verbatim, and I'm going to see if I can get through the sentence because it's bugging me. Helene is on the precipice of hurricane status this morning as her numbingly frigid convection completely consumes Cancun with winds of 70 miles per hour and plummeting pressure down to 979 MB. Her shrimp-like twirl is powerfully wrapping her inner core in a protective ice sheet of thunderstorms. She is likely making her closest approach to Quintana Roo right now and will soon enter the hazardly heated eastern Gulf of Mexico. That's very poetic. That's kind of wild there. Anyway, it's going to hit the coast of Florida near Tallahassee. Governor Ron DeSantis has declared a state of emergency for Florida. Of a majority of Florida counties in prep of the upcoming storm. Ahead of the it declared a state of emergency for 41 of Florida's 67 counties, ahead of what is expected to be a major hurricane, Category 3 or higher, making landfall somewhere in the state's panhandle by the end of the week. DeSantis signed Executive Order 24208, emergency management, emergency management on Monday. There's a bunch of other words in there, and I just didn't read. Is Quintana Roo that related to kangaroos? I don't know. I didn't even know I think that's a town. Anyway, as well as Floridians making an emergency plan to stay up to date, the governor wrote, quote, "We are tracking potential tropical cyclone number 9, which is likely to strengthen this week as the system enters the Gulf of Mexico. I have issued Executive Order 24208 declaring a state of emergency in 41 counties in Florida that could see potential impacts from the storm and directing Florida's agencies to prepare as necessary." Then he names the counties. And some say it could be as bad as a Category 5, which is, I think, 200-mile-an-hour winds. So just if you're in Florida, prepare for this or just leave for a while. I don't know, but please be safe if you are in Florida. Moving on, also Tallahassee's trending because Tallahassee's right in the line of the storm. Also, what is this? A 17-year-old female high school student was arrested and a female high school staff member was placed on leave after the pair engaged in a vicious fight this week in Tallahassee, Florida, the school cafeteria, the school cafeteria, and that was recorded by cell phone video. So a teacher and a student got in a fight. Well, we're not going to watch that. Red sky in the morning in Tallahassee. There's a cool picture. I'll show you that. So anyway, Helene is coming, guys. If you're in Florida, I'm saying, don't be stupid. Do what you need to do to be safe. All right. Moving on. Thank you. Reaction Puerto Rico sent me this, and this is just a quick aside. This should concern Democrats. Oh, wait. Before we do that, we have a donor today. Wait, someone hit Selena's G-spot. Yeah, that that report about from whatever that source was, it was getting kind of I don't know. The language they were using was just really interesting, and now Advocate Stiabli's talking about Helena's G-spot. I don't know. That's getting weird. By the way, today's cup of coffee is brought to you by the California Surf Museum in Oceanside, California. You got the couple Volkswagen buses on there, some boards, Surfing USA. And also, first donor of the day, Bob J. Boblin. You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Yes, Bob J. Boblin, the CEO of FTG Farms. Hello. And Bob says, "Hello, Bob Boblin here. I have thought long and hard about who FTG Farms would endorse for president, but I have decided to endorse Trump. Trump embodies everything FTG Farms stands for: American-made goods for Americans. God bless America, FTG, Joe, and the Ho." Well, thank you, Bob J. Boblin, the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor today. Thank you, sir. And you are a great American. I agree. Anyway, so this is an update, and this is just Virginia, but I wonder how much this mirrors the country. So someone's saying that Democrats should be seriously worried about this. Virginia early voting summary to date compared to 2020. Strong Trump counties are up 63%, as in early voting. Weak Trump counties up 58%. Not weak, but strong. Trump counties, basically the Trump counties up 58%. Competitive counties up 36%. Weak Harris counties up 23%. Strong Harris counties up 26%. This trend should seriously worry Democrats. And in fact, some of these counties, Buchanan up 204% in early voting. Craig 230% in early voting. Scott 192% in early voting. Smith County 456% in early voting. Now here's the problem. Now I know it. It did make sense, did it? You know what I mean. Weak Trump leading counties, like slightly Trump leading versus strongly Trump leading. I'm pretty sure that's what it meant. But anyway, here's the thing though. Now, the problem using percentages, it doesn't always tell you a lot. So for example, if only one person voted early in a county in 2020, and then 30 people voted early voting in a county, that'd be a huge percentage jump in early voting, but it wouldn't mean a ton. But still, it is interesting that, 300% is an increase from, there you go. So, it may not mean a lot, but it could also mean that these counties are engaged a lot more than they were in 2020. Now, Democrats will be thrilled that Fairfax county turnout being 398% above 2020. But this is one bright spot with Alexandria. Oh, these are towns. Alexandria, Arlington Falls Church, and Prince William all significantly down on this point in 2020. So Trump counties have far fewer voters than the Harris counties. I won't put too much hope on these data points just yet. Actually, because of the margins, it's really close in terms of raw votes. Counties currently have about 6,000 more votes than GOP ones. This gap closed a lot since the weekend and will continue to do so this week. So anyway, that is the point though. There's a lot more in the Harris counties, or blue counties, so to speak, than they don't have to be as much up to still be ahead, but it is a good trend for the Trump counties if you're a Trump voter. So moving on, Nantucket is in the news, and not because of any dirty limerick. Apparently, here's the story that's trending the most, and I'll just go right to it. In a multi-day operation on Nantucket Island, ICE's Boston office announced they arrested 4 illegal aliens who are charged with violating underage humans from Nantucket or other residents, all of whom were released from local custody despite the serious charges. Now there's the problem. They were released from custody despite the charges. They include Elmer Sola, a Salvadorian illegal alien who entered through to the U.S. as a gateway, and was charged last month with 3 counts of aggravated child violation. The victim was a Nantucket child. Byron Daniel Aldana Aravalo, another Salvadorian illegal alien who entered the U.S. as a getaway and was charged in July with the same thing with a child. Jean do Amaral Belafonte, a Brazilian illegal alien who entered the U.S. as a getaway and was charged in June with sexually assaulting a Nantucket resident, and Felix Alberto Perez Gomez, a previously deported Guatemalan illegal alien who re-entered the U.S. as a getaway and was charged last month with sexually assaulting a Nantucket resident. All 4 of these alleged sex offenders were getaways. ICE says they were all arrested by ICE on Nantucket in Sanctuary State, Massachusetts. According to internal CPB data, there have been over 1.9 million known gotaways who successfully evaded apprehension and snuck into the U.S. during the Biden administration, tracked via cameras, sensors, foot sign, etc. So now someone down here, oh, they were shipped to Nantucket by DeSantis or Abbott instead of being detained. No, they were already detained in Nantucket, but they were let go. And apparently, meet the police chief of Nantucket, Jody D. Casper. Jody enjoys swimming, boating, and releasing illegal aliens from her jail who have been arrested for child violation and sexual assault. So someone's naming her as part of the problem. So this is a big deal. I'm sure you're going to be hearing more about that today. Also in the news, let's see. Tel Aviv, another city, is in the news. Apparently Tel Aviv has been attacked by Hezbollah, sending rockets into, what the hell? There we go. People sending rockets into Tel Aviv, and the Iron Dome system has worked on basically all but a couple. But still, here's a story in Breitbart. Hezbollah fires missiles at Tel Aviv, intercepted by defense system. Hezbollah fired a missile toward Tel Aviv. Well, there were several because a couple of them hit the ground. But anyway, Hezbollah fired missiles towards Tel Aviv and central Israel on Wednesday morning local time, setting off air raid warnings and sending residents scrambling to bomb shelters and safe rooms. There were no reports of injuries or damage. It was not immediately clear what kind of a projectile was fired, although Army radio reported that one missile from Lebanon landed in Israel without causing any damage. Then reported that the Arrow missile defense system, which is used for longer range missiles, had intercepted it. Update: the Times of Israel reported that David Sling, another missile defense system, was used instead. The Army radio military correspondent Doron Kadash suggested that Hezbollah might be trying to establish a kind of parity with the Israeli military, which has struck targets in Beirut over the past several days. The difference: Israel aims at military targets such as Hezbollah leaders. Hezbollah aims at civilians and also hides among civilians. So it is. The attack came a day after Israel killed one of the Iranian-backed terror groups' senior commanders, who was in charge of missile attacks on Israel. It also came less than a day after U.S. President Joe Biden spoke at the United Nations General Assembly in New York. Biden issued his infamous "don't" to Hezbollah and Iran during the visit to Israel in October. That warning appears to have been ignored as Hezbollah escalates closer to full-scale war. So there you go. Hezbollah is probably retaliating over that pager incident too. I'm just, and also the fact that Israel is hitting military targets in Tel Aviv. The NCAA is also trending. Now, I wasn't sure why. A lot of people are talking about the current football season and how this player from UNLV, this is crazy. UNLV is doing really well this year in football, but its quarterback is declared himself, he's redshirting and entering the transfer portal. Now listen to this. UNLV starting quarterback Matthew Sluka has declared he's redshirting and entering the transfer portal, all while the team is having its best season ever and competing for a playoff spot in the NCAA's new format. I think they need to fix the rules a little bit on the transfer stuff. That's just crazy. So anyway, there's that story. Then there's also this story in Outkick. Teammate of SJSU's transgender volleyball player Blair Fleming joins a lawsuit against the NCAA. The current teammate of Blair Fleming, the trans-identifying male on the undefeated San Jose State women's volleyball team, has joined more than a dozen other female athletes in suing the NCAA for Title IX violations. The class action lawsuit, originally filed in March, states that the NCAA has knowingly violated Title IX, the federal statute that guarantees equal opportunity for men and women in college education and sports. Brooke Slusser, the starting setter and co-captain of San Jose State's team says she was forced both to compete and share a residence with Fleming without any prior notice that the athlete was male. Fleming, a redshirt senior, previously played at Coastal Carolina University and has played for SJSU's women's team for the past 3 seasons. As Outkick reported in April, the school initially hid the fact that the 6'1" outside hitter was born a male and allegedly withheld that fact from Slusser as well. So, I need you to think about this. I need you to think about this. So, your daughter goes off to college, right? She's a D1 athlete. She's excited to go play volleyball at San Jose State University, a lovely, lovely school in Central California. Or no, it's on the coast. Isn't that down by, it's kind of by San Francisco, right? Anyway, lovely, and your daughter gets to college and has a roommate assigned to her at the college. And one morning they get up and her roommate's over there, standing over there in the mirror naked, and the roommate has a penis. I have no idea if my daughter called me and said my roommate has a penis. I would be concerned, and I understand why she might be too. Anyway. Further, Slusser was frequently assigned by the SJSU athletic department to room with Fleming on road trips. She later found out that Fleming specifically requested her. According to the complaint, Slusser had noticed that Fleming played volleyball with jumping ability and power that surpassed that of any girl on the team, but it wasn't until she overheard a conversation among students who called Fleming a guy that she realized why that was. SJSU Spartans have experienced a historic year, starting the season with program best 8-0 record, dropping only 4 sets out of the 28 that they played all year. Fleming has the second most total kills on the team, 103, and kills per set rate of 3.68. Slusser said that while she did not want Fleming to be bullied, she was uncomfortable with the trans athlete's presence on the team. She questioned whether it was safe or fair for the other women on the team and for opposing teams. Slusser saw Fleming was hitting the ball with more force and far harder than any woman she'd ever played against. One thing that's important in this case is the really physical safety issues in volleyball. Slusser's attorney Bill Bach told Outkick, and that's what they're facing in practice every day. So it's just crazy, just a crazy misguided policy that steals athletic dreams from women and gives them to men, and at the same time puts women's health and safety in danger. So there's a young lady with a lawsuit. Yeah, it's funny. I was not aware. I knew because I'm a bit of a fan of women's volleyball and college volleyball, because growing up in Nebraska has has perennially had one of the best volleyball teams in the country, and my daughter played volleyball, and the University of Minnesota has a great volleyball tradition, and just it's huge here in Minnesota. So I really enjoy women's volleyball. And I played volleyball myself when I was in college. So, and I saw that San Jose State was undefeated. And I'm like, oh, I'd really never heard about them being a powerhouse in volleyball. And I was like, oh, and this is the first, though, that I realized that apparently this outside hitter is Slusser. This is a male. And yeah. And someone made a point about how, let's see. Okay. So I saw a post about San Jose State playing, right? And they were talking about how high this outside hitter gets and how much power this outside hitter gets. This was a few weeks ago. And I was like, okay, now it makes sense. So here's the other part. Men's volleyball play on a net that's a foot higher than the women's. And so I'm curious too, when did this person transition? Because it certainly still has the jumping ability of a male. And I just don't get why the NCAA allows this. It's really weird. It's just really weird. So was any of that on the screen? Oh, yeah, I did. I did take that. I had that on the screen. So that's why the NCAA is trending. And her own setter is joining the lawsuit. It's fascinating. So there you go. All right, let's keep going. Stephen Colbert, for some reason, is trending. I think it still has something to do with Trump talking about the late night TV and how he'd like to see Johnny Carson back, even though Johnny Carson is dead. But here's another thing. So someone says here, since Trump just shined a light on Stephen Colbert, remember when Stephen joked about sacrificing a baby to some sort of demonic creature? Yeah, totally normal. Trump knows his secrets. That's why Colbert is one that screams the loudest against him. These people are sick. Yeah, I didn't see that one, but that's great. Also, where was I? Scrolled down here. Last night, Stephen Colbert mentioned he had Justin Trudeau on. He had the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on. And let's see, I'm posting this clip of Justin Trudeau and Stephen Colbert on just to watch the Maple MAGA heads explode. Well, let's see what if now I'm not a Maple MAGA head, but I have a few in my audience. Good morning, Now What Studios, aka Woo, my friend from high school. My dear friend from high school, I should say. Okay, let's see if I know it's not there's not really Maple MAGAs. Well, you kind of are. I don't know. I've never heard that term, but let's see if this clip of Justin Trudeau makes any MAGA-esque heads explode. Let's see what he says that's dumb here.
No, the thing is that everyone focuses on the land, but really Canada's about the people. It's
about the people that Justin Trudeau can control and take their bank accounts away.
A range of people from every possible background who come together and
yes.
A little different from the melting pot in the United States where everyone gets to be American.
Yes.
We try to celebrate differences and people keep their cultures and keep their languages. And like when the Polish Prime Minister came to visit, he was super amazing.
Is this accurate, Canadians?
I'm pleased that so many of the members of the Polish community continued to speak Polish, even though they've been here for generations. Whereas, everyone sort of becomes American more.
And I've never really liked necessarily the melting pot analogy. I mean, it kind of is. Yes, we all become Americans, but we're also a bit of a stew too, where we have traditions of different things, and we go like. I love going to ethnic festivals because that's part of the stew, even though we're all Americans. So, we went to the Irish festival in St. Paul. We went to, there was a German festival in St. Paul. We went to, there's a Nigerian festival in St. Paul. I mean, and yet we all tried to be Americans, and that's fine. So I don't know if that's any different than... Oh, stopped acting better than America. Boo. But yeah, so I don't know what he means there. But anyway, let's see what else he had to say.
I've heard it described that America is a melting pot and Canada perceives itself as a mosaic.
And more of a mosaic or
I don't
tapestry.
know about that. I don't know. Really? Does Canada see itself as a mosaic? I just see there's a lot of land and different personalities of the different provinces. I don't know if it's a mosaic. I mean... Good. Here's an idea. If you want to be a mosaic, you can take all these people that are coming across our southern border. Nah, sorry, guys.
The differences, not just regional, because you guys have those as well, but differences in stories, differences in perspectives. Every day you meet a Canadian, you get to hear a different approach to life, a different take on the values we have, on the things that we love. It's an amazing country, and I really
and what's different about that in the United States? That's pretty much these two particular countries. Because we're heavy on immigrants post the post 19th century. Okay, the 20th century immigrants, where we got people from all over the world, have a lot of different ethnicities, cultures, whatever. But the thing about these countries is we still, at least the United States, we still gravitate towards the American ideal, the American Constitution, the American way of life. And I think most of the people who come here, at least legally, come for that. And maybe that's not what they go to Canada for. I don't know. They're just busy trying to stay warm. You know? Good morning, Rick Ashbringer. He looks like his father. Yes, he does look like his father. He does look like a young Fidel Castro. Anyway, okay, nothing on what I'm still trying to figure out what exactly was supposed to make anyone's head explode by what he's saying here. We'll see. Let's see if there's more.
I encourage you to come up and see more than just for the maple syrup and mountains.
And moose. That's the 3 M's: maple syrup, mountains, and moose. And then, of course, muskies, because you have a lot of lakes in Canada.
I've worked there too. I worked in Vancouver and Toronto and had a great time. So you're our closest ally, Canada. We stand, shoulder to shoulder, facing
proximity-wise, I guess. Yeah, all of the above. Okay, what's your point here, Stephen?
The world and the challenges of the world. I'm sure you're talking about a lot about the UN. What do we fight over?
Fuck the UN.
Because we don't think of ourselves as fighting with you guys. What are we? What's the big? Is it soft lumber tariffs? What is it?
Yeah,
fishing rights.
That's an issue. Yeah,
what is it?
These are issues,
yes.
But they're always small issues that matter. I mean, you guys are paying too much for your lumber because you've got tariffs on it, and that doesn't make any sense. So we keep trying to point that out for you. But
what? Because the tariffs on lumber, you're paying too much for lumber?
Lumber, because you've got tariffs on it, and that doesn't make any sense. So we keep trying to point that out for you.
Well, you should have talked to Joe Biden about that there, Justin.
We'll keep working on that.
But we come up to you guys to get cheaper drugs.
Yeah,
we come over the border for cheaper drugs. You guys okay with that?
We're happy to try and help you out, but it'd be really easier if you guys had universal health care.
Go fuck yourself. Stan, if we want verse.
You got.
Okay, I guess that must have been the MAGA head exploding line. That was pretty weak, actually. So anyway. Okay, great. Speaking of Canadians, JB dropping it's not a Hamilton. What's the lady's name on the Canadian 10 spot? I can't remember. Anyway, he says, thank you by a YouTube super chat saying, ignore Trudeau. Some ridiculous percentage of Canadians live about 30 minutes from the border. Well, yeah, because if you live much farther north, it's cold. It's just damn cold. You can't go too much farther north of the border from here. It's like northern Minnesota. It's cold. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Oh, here. Oh, this bell. There you go. Yeah, snow Mexico, exactly. So I guess that's why Colbert is trending. I don't know. And of course the people in CNN had to make fun of him for something, whatever. I don't care about Stephen Colbert. Who else is trending? Alex Jones is trending. Apparently, Alex Jones's empire is going to be liquidated soon, and they have had to close down a major portion of everything. And let's see, like always, now Marjorie Taylor Greene, is this the real one? This is the real Marjorie Taylor Greene. I always liked Alex Jones. The judge ordering Alex Jones' InfoWars be auctioned off to pay $1.5 billion defamation damages, a sum he could never pay, proves it was always really about destroying Alex Jones. The shooter was the one who horrifically murdered those innocent children, not Alex Jones. He might have said things that were wrong, and then he repeatedly apologized. How many times have you ever heard the mainstream media ever apologize about the horrible things they have said and lies they have told, a character assassination they made on people? Never. They've never apologized. And are they being ordered to pay their victims billions, or their media companies being auctioned off? Nope, this is wrong. Look, this whole thing was always about destroying Alex Jones. It wasn't about what he said. Alex Jones has 90 days to pay Sandy Hook families, even though the CIA were caught on undercover camera admitting to framing him so he would be silenced. I haven't heard that part. What the federal government did to Alex Jones is positively criminal. InfoWars to be liquidated and auctioned off in November, with U.S. bankruptcy judge Christopher Lopez stating he will approve the auctions. Oh, Matt Jarbo's back. Oh, fucking Rock Hunter says that nothing of value was lost. Well, I'm sorry, but Alex Jones serves his purpose. Someone here said, wouldn't it be funny if Elon Musk showed up, bought InfoWars, then just gave it back to Alex Jones? Oh, snap. That would be wild now, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be wild? That would be, I don't know. People would lose their fucking minds if that happened. So here's and Wokeness, this account on X says Alex Jones got a $1.5 billion fine over his 2012 comments about Sandy Hook. For those still keeping score, 0 fines for lies about Iraq WMD, 0 fines for lies about Project 2025, 0 fines about lies about COVID vax, 0 fines for lies about Hunter's laptop, and 0 fines for lies about Russian collusion, and 0 fines for lies about the Butler attack. But they're auctioning off all of InfoWars stuff, which they're never going to get 1.5 billion out of that. They again, this is never about punishing Alex Jones. It's about ending his company and his voice. And so I got a feeling Alex Jones will come back somewhere, and it's you know, I don't think you can keep him down. I mean, he's still alive. Now, unless they try to kill him, of course. So, moving on, also trending, Iran is trending. And Iran, because Donald Trump posted about the fact that Iran has people coming after him. He posted on X yesterday, big threats on my life by Iran. The entire U.S. military is watching and waiting. Moves were already made by Iran that didn't work out, but they will try again. Not a good situation for anyone. I am surrounded by more men, guns, and weapons than I have ever seen before. Thank you, Congress, for unanimously approving far more money to Secret Service. 0 vote, no votes, strictly bipartisan. Nice to see Republicans and Democrats get together on something. An attack on a former president is a death wish for the attacker. Which I think that is that an ominous threat to the mullahs? I don't know, but there you go. So a lot of people talking about that. Also talking about Hezbollah and whatever. But Mark Levin, well, here, this is interesting too. There's an article in Free Beacon that says Biden-Harris administration intentionally covered up Iran's envoy's security suspension, sparking a probe. It sure looks like this administration is colluding with Iran, Representative Jim Banks says in a fresh investigation into Rob Malley's continued access to classified info. So I'm not going to go through this story, but if you want to get deeper into it, I'm dropping the Free Beacon article in the links today. Let's see, what else was here? But Mark Levin adds this point. The Harris, Biden, and Blinken have been colluding with, appeasing, and subsidizing Iran in what is the biggest foreign policy scandal and act of treason by any administration in American history. This compels a full-scale criminal and congressional investigation when Trump wins and the GOP controls both houses of Congress. So Mark Levin seems to be optimistic about the upcoming election. Well, let's I have time. Let's get into this. The Biden administration intentionally sought to cover up the suspension of embattled Iran envoy Robert Malley, according to Representative Jim Banks, Republican from Indiana, who is calling for further scrutiny into the State Department after an explosive Inspector General report found that the agency grossly mishandled the affair. In a money letter, Banks, a House Armed Services Committee member, instructed the State Department to explain how Malley was permitted to continue accessing classified information after his security clearance was pulled in 2023. Malley was placed on indefinite leave from his post when it became clear the FBI was investigating him for keeping classified information in his personal email account. Banks said the move allowed that information to be compromised by foreign actors. Many of Malley's colleagues were not aware of the suspension and may have continued to share classified information with him, Banks wrote to the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken. Malley's deputy was instructed not to tell anyone about the suspension, but was given no guidance on when to include or exclude Malley from sensitive matters. Banks' letter follows a bombshell Inspector General report released last week that details how the State Department breached multiple federal protocols after it suspended Malley, including by keeping the revocation of his security clearance a secret from senior staff and Malley himself. This allowed Malley to participate in a secure telephone call with the White House after his clearance was yanked. Malley continued to handle sensitive information well after it should have been cut off, according to the report. I'm not sure what this has to do with Iran other than he was an envoy. And so I'm not sure why Levin said this related to that story. I'm not really sure. But I don't know the details behind Malley, unless you do. And any of you know? I don't know. Let's see. All right, we're going to move on because I got a lot to catch up on. Somebody named Stephanie Rule. Do you remember Stephanie Rule from MSNBC? She was one of those people who said, it doesn't really matter if Kamala Harris does interviews. She doesn't need to. Well, now apparently Kamala Harris is going to do an interview. Her third interview, or, interview, which is really a massage and some warm cup of cocoa. But she's going to do a interview with Stephanie Rule, but it's not going to be aired live. Now, last week, Rule said that the media and journalists don't need to ask her any legitimate questions before we vote. This is a commentator on MSNBC who has endorsed Kamala Harris for president. So this interview is going to be, well, how do you feel about Trump being mean to you all the time? I mean, it's going to be one of those interviews. In fact, here Stephanie Rule slobbered over Kamala a few days ago, saying she doesn't have to do interviews because democracy is at stake. And the Harris campaign immediately called her up and says, "You're our kind of interviewer. Let's go." Announced VP Harris will join MSNBC host Stephanie Rule in Pittsburgh for her first one-on-one network interview since becoming the Democratic presidential nominee. How long has Kamala Harris been the nominee? How long is, de facto, when did Joe Biden step down? Was that like June 25th? And she's finally doing her third interview total, but the first one on MSNBC. Okay, here's the assignment, class, and I'm going to put this in the question Q&A. Here it is. We're going to make list of questions Stephanie Rule will ask Kamala Harris. Go. We're making a list of questions Stephanie Rule will ask Kamala Harris. We'll do those at the end of the show. Or we'll do some of that. We'll try to get through as many as we can. And that is very different from Friday Q&A. Be serious. Sort of. Moving on. Alex Soros is trending. Now, apparently, two reasons. One, apparently the FCC, Federal Communications Commission, they have decided against doing the normal review procedure of some George Soros dominated investment group buying 200 radio stations in the United States. So basically, there are some big rules as far as foreign ownership of American media, right? There's some limits or whatever they try to put on it. And a Soros dominated group is going to buy 200 radio stations. The FCC is bypassing their normal procedures to do it. Now, here it is. Why is the FCC allowing a Soros company buy 200 radio stations in America? Tim Walz met with Alex Soros in New York City. By the way, that's why Alex Soros is trending, because Tim Walz had a meeting with Alex Soros, which, Tim Walz, Mr. All-American, Mid-American, real dude, going hanging out with Alex Soros in New York City. That's interesting. Anyway, the reason this comes up is because in Florida, apparently some conservatives tried to buy a single radio station, and people on the left and Democrats, whatever, were fighting it tooth and nail for them buying a single radio station in Florida. And the FCC, made them jump over all these hoops. And then they're going to let Soros buy 200 stations with barely a review. Interesting. But the reason Alex Soros is trending is because Tim Walz had 2 private meetings with Alex Soros this past month in New York City. Get a rope. So there you go. That's just Tim Walz with just a normal guy. Watching Tim Walz bow and curtsy to Alex Soros makes my stomach churn. And America, do we want 4 more years of Soros rule? So lots of people talking about the Soros meeting with Tim Walz. Also in the news, visas. Now, this is the main topic today. Visa, the company Visa, like credit card, Visa, whatever. Well, the DOJ is opening a lawsuit against Visa, saying they illegally monopolize U.S. debit card market, the U.S. debit card market, right? Well, about a month ago, just under a month ago, Nancy Pelosi and her husband Paul sold $1 million worth of Visa stock. It was just 2 months ago. So that's kind of the question. Here's the world's greatest investor, Nancy Pelosi. And now they say more than 500,000 worth. It's close to $1 million. Just before the DOJ antitrust lawsuit, Nancy Pelosi's husband unloaded more than $500,000 worth of Visa stock less than 3 months before the credit card giant was slapped with the federal antitrust charges. Public documents show Visa was hit with a lawsuit on Tuesday that alleged the company had illegally monopolized the debit card market, the culmination of a years-long review and conducted by the Justice Department Antitrust Unit. Visa allegedly used its dominant market position to penalize customers and merchants who use competing payment processors, according to court papers. Antitrust cops also allege that Visa forces financial tech firms to work with it by threatening to penalize those that don't. The Post has sought comment from Visa. Meanwhile, Christopher Joseph, the tech entrepreneur who runs the Nancy Pelosi stock tracker on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, posted a screenshot of a congressional filing on July 3rd, which shows that the former House Speaker's husband, Paul Pelosi, has sold more than 2,000 shares of Visa worth between $500,000 and $1 million. So the disclosure form shows that Pelosi's transaction marked SP or spouse, a reference to husband Paul, the San Francisco-based venture capitalist and real estate investor. At the time Paul Pelosi sold Visa stock, there was no public indication that an antitrust lawsuit against the company was imminent. But by the way, shares of Visa are down, closed down at 5.5% at 270-278. I'm sure they'll go down a little more now that the antitrust lawsuit has been brought to light. But what a coinkydink! Just there's no way that she could have had any inside information because she's just a person in Congress, just happens to be there. She never talked to nobody over there, and nobody warns her about anything. She doesn't know about antitrust suits that are coming up because, people in Congress just don't know anything. They just kind of, hang around and, drink their coffee and, tap on their laptops. They don't know anything. But she's just lucky, right? They just had this feeling, this gut feeling that something would happen with Visa, and just conveniently dumped the stock before they got an antitrust lawsuit against them because, they're very lucky, very fortunate, and the world's greatest traders. So, and that's with a D, not T. Oh, it's just uncanny. Now there's a whole X account. Let's see if I can find it here. It's called the Nancy Pelosi Stock Tracker. Let's see if they have it linked here in this article. There we go. Let's see if this is it. Oh, trading app goes viral thanks to Nancy's lookalike UFC match. Invest like a politician. Okay, so this is a tech startup seeded a Nancy Pelosi impersonator from the front row of a UFC match in a publicity stunt to launch a new app that allows users to invest like a politician. Oh, here it is, Chris Josephs. Next up, the ad read, it read like a car salesman ad, haha. Brought to you by Autopilot. Ever dreamt of investing like a politician? Well, now you can. Go join Autopilot.com and pick up your politician today. Picking up your politician was like picking a Toyota off the lot. So anyway, they have they have an app that you can invest exactly like the people in Congress, and you can choose your congressman. And if you invest using that app, apparently they've gotten huge, people who've used it have gotten huge gains because congressmen rarely lose. Brought to you by Gas Buddy. Yeah, exactly. Good morning, No Toes. What's up? I see you there. So anyway, that's what that's all about today. All right. I'm not doing terrible for time. At least I'm getting through the main topics. Finally, though, this is the greatest trending topic possibly of all trending topics today, and that would be Mr. Michael Cohen. Now, you remember Michael Cohen. Everyone knows who Michael Cohen is, right? The guy in the middle of the Stormy Daniels case, whatever, got convicted of perjury, and apparently, and also former President Trump's, one of his lawyers. This guy seemed to be a hanger-on type, though, and called himself Trump's fixer. Uh-oh. Anyway, Michael Cohen has dropped one of the greatest campaign ads for President Trump that you could ever wish for. And we're just going to watch it. He was on MSNBC, and basically, this is a campaign ad for President Trump. Here it is.
What do you think happens to you if he wins?
Well, I'm out of here. I mean, I'm already working on a foreign passport with a completely different name. I don't know how it's going to work leave? As far as dealing with my wife and my children. I certainly don't want them moving to where I'm looking to go. But I don't think yourself, the president of MSNBC, General Milley, Liz Cheney. How many people has he turned around and said that these are people that I intend to go after if I have the ability to? And the worst is the Supreme Court.
You mean the people who may have committed crimes? And I don't think he's talking about, I'm pretty sure he's never said anything about her. And I don't think he has to go after you, Mike Cohen. You're pretty much a piece of shit anyway.
Recent decision that gave him immunity, presidential immunity. Now he thinks it's not only is it I can do whatever I want, but I can't even be prosecuted. It's a get out of jail free card solely for the president.
Yeah, maybe Michael Cohen, the attorney, doesn't understand what the ruling was. But anyway, if Trump wins, he's leaving the country. Well, let's go. Yeah. I got to tell you. Poor Michael Cohen. Where's the one I wanted to hit for that one? Here's my reaction to the fact that if Trump wins, Michael Cohen leaves the country. Here we go.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Okay, goodbye, Michael Cohen. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. There you go. All right, got a bunch of articles open, but I have so many open that obviously we can't go too in depth into any of them. But there are a lot of things that if you want to have the time to read. Now, here's something interesting. The State Department has issued a do not travel advisory for Haiti. What? I thought, well, now look, I'm not blaming the Haitians that are here. Some of the Haitians are very good people, hardworking people. And then you have some people who just don't understand what it is to live in America. But do not travel blares in red warning at the top of the State Department page. Things you're not supposed to do in Haiti per the U.S. government if you ignore the blaring red warning and go anyway. Using any kind of public transportation or taxis, visiting banks or using ATMs, driving at night, traveling anywhere after dark, traveling without prior approval and special security measures in place. Now, I just remember, do you remember when Conan O'Brien went to Haiti and swam in the ocean around Haiti? And he felt safe. Remember that? Was it Conan O'Brien? I think it was Conan O'Brien. It's like, oh, what's wrong with Haiti? I can travel to Haiti, and I'm going to take a picture of myself swimming around the beach. Motherfucker, I bet you went there with like 17 security guards. Fuck you, Conan. And I think you're funny, but goddamn. So anyway, there's a major travel warning to Haiti, and not that has anything to do. It has nothing to do with people that are here, but you know, Haiti should be a permanent. Haiti should be a permanent do not travel to. Yeah, it kind of is. It's just Haiti's fucked, and weird. And look, I'm under no illusion that the United States had a big part in making Haiti completely fucked, particularly the Clintons, but not just the Clintons. We've been messing with their government, whatever. Why don't we just mind our own business sometimes? Now, granted, they're right across a little bit of water from Florida, but still, well, they're not as close as Cuba, but whatever. In PJ Media, Haitian immigrant advocacy. Oh, by the way, this Haitian group has filed criminal complaints against Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Have you heard about this? Some group called the Haitian Bridge Alliance is filing criminal charges against former President Donald Trump and his running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, for 7 separate offenses, including disrupting public services, making false alarms, aggravated menacing, complicity, and telecommunications harassment. Yes, those are the charges. And apparently in Canada, citizens can file a criminal complaint, and a judge either has to hear the complaint or refer it to prosecutors to determine whether or not they are going to pursue it. Now, somehow, I was listening to Robert Gouveia, and he's saying that somehow in Ohio there's this particular action. I guess it must be heard by the judge, and now the group's claiming that the judge cannot dismiss it, but I doubt that. I really doubt that. Now, also, this is not in a state court either. Apparently, this is in a local, I guess a city court, a municipal court, that they're filing it. And anyway, HBA, which is the Haitian Bridge Alliance, is filed this criminal charge to hold Trump and Vance accountable for the devastating harm they caused our community in Springfield and has impacted Haitians around the United States, said Joseph in a statement. 33 bomb threats have been alleged across Springfield within the last 2 weeks. Hospitals, schools, universities, and government offices were all evacuated after receiving racially charged threats. Springfield government officials and their families received threats. Trump and Vance's lies have harmed the Springfield community, and their lies violated criminal law. So that's interesting, probably going nowhere. But I guess some of those bomb threats now we're finding out have been coming from foreign countries. at least the origin of the threats. So people are trying to figure that shit out too. Anyway, this says funny thing is the HBA cannot technically file criminal charges since that's the job of the district attorneys and whatnot. So what is the reason for the little song and dance? Apparently the legal firm working with the Haitian Bridge Alliance is the Chandra Law Firm, which is based in Cleveland. And to no one's surprise, Mr. Subodh Chandra is a huge Kamala fan to the point that he has hosted fundraisers for her and with her at his home. So this is fascinating, but if you want to read more about it, it's in the links. In Breitbart, shots were fired into Kamala Harris's campaign office in Tempe, Arizona. Arizona police confirmed on Tuesday. We can confirm that on 9/23/24, what appears to be damage from gunfire at a DNC campaign office was discovered. Tempe police told NBC News on Tuesday. Public Information Officer Sergeant Ryan Cook confirmed that no injuries occurred and that the shots were fired during overnight hours. No one was inside the office during the overnight hours, but this raises concerns about the safety of those who work in that building as well as those nearby. So some dickwad fired shots at a building in the middle of the night. And for all we know, it could have been gangs, having a shootout. We don't know, but apparently some of those bullets definitely hit the Kamala Harris office. Now, the gunfire incident marked the second time in just 2 weeks that the campaign office had been hit with criminal damage. The first being shots fired from a BB gun or pellet gun on September 16th. The apparent gunfire marks the second incident. Okay, wait, why did they do this twice? Yeah, there's a the office's windows got hit with a BB gun or a pellet gun. So, hey, nobody, and I mean nobody, condones this. Nobody with a brain condones it. So, FTG, whoever shot the Kamala Harris campaign office, fuck them. American Thinker, apparently Kamala Harris wants to end the filibuster to bring back Roe versus Wade. I don't, maybe she doesn't understand who makes up the rules for the various parts of the executive and legislative and Supreme Court branches of government. She has no power to end the filibuster. She's not in the Senate. She can't bring up a vote for it. I mean, technically she's the president pro temp of the Senate, but whatever. One of the things Democrats warn voters about Trump is that if he is elected, it will be the end of democracy. However, today Kamala Harris revealed that it is she who wants to do away with one of the most important democratic norms in America, the filibuster. Ostensibly, it's to return unlimited abortion to America, but the reality is that if she wins the White House and Democrats control Congress, America becomes a one-party nation forever, in theory. The Senate authorized the filibuster over 200 years ago in 1806, and it was first put into effect in 1837. Its purpose is to allow a minority to invoke the filibuster to keep a bill from being voted upon unless 3/5 of the Senate members invoke cloture. This prevents majority rule by forcing a broad agreement on bills that will have profound effect on America. So the purpose of it is, again, that's kind of the whole purpose of the way our government's set up, and particularly the Senate. It's there to slow your roll, okay? So that we just don't have so we're not a democracy where, 51% of everything you vote on is passed, because sometimes 51% of the electorate are stupid or misguided. And so we slow things down. We want things to be a little more agreed upon before we pass them. And so we have this filibuster system. Now, maybe people don't like it. I don't care. It's kind of like the reason we only have 2 senators from every state and we have representation by population in Congress, because we want one body of the, the legislative branch to be able to just slow things down and say, hey, wait a minute. Now, we know that half of the people like this, but how badly can this affect some of the people who don't like it? And so we have that system, and it's fine. And the bottom line here is Kamala Harris no longer has anything to do with the filibuster. Now she could, unless, because, oh boy, I wonder if under current rules, like when they go through their rules, can they, because they have 50-50 plus one, can they change that before she leaves the vice presidency? Because she's leaving the vice presidency no matter what, right? She'll either win the election and she'll be president, or she'll lose the election and she won't be vice president anymore and she won't be a senator. Can she get that changed while she is the vice president? That's an interesting thought. Hi, Aaron Meredith. So anyway, she could refuse to sign bills until they remove it themselves. Yeah, she could. That doesn't mean they're going to budge on that. Doesn't mean they're going to budge on it. I don't know. So anyway, but she again, when Democrats use the word democracy, they mean our people in power, not necessarily Democrats, but our people. And they mean democracy to them means what we want to do. You know, it's like we want you do it our way or it's not democracy. Well, fuck you. I'm not interested in democracy. I'm not interested in, the two wolves and a sheep voting what's for dinner. So, in PJ Media today, who's the threat to democracy? Oh, like I said, who's the threat to democracy? It's almost become a cliche today when someone on the left calls Donald Trump a threat to our democracy. Never mind that we're a republic. The breathless left wants you to believe that Trump will usher in some sort of dictatorship. Now, over the past 4 weeks and the 8 years of Obama, we've seen what the left wants to do with power. Democrats have weaponized the federal government against conservatives and anyone else who threatens Democrat power. And Obama and Joe Biden have used their presidential bully pulpit to tell the world that we're terrible people to oppose them. Millions of Democrats voted for Biden for re-election in the 2024 primaries. Yet that party subverted democracy by pushing him out and installing Kamala Harris, who not only didn't win any delegates this year, but didn't win any when she ran in 2020 as the nominee. And Harris is giving us a clear idea of what she wants to do with, quote, our democracy, end quote. In a recent interview, Harris said that she wants to explore the idea of getting rid of the filibuster to pass radical abortion legislation in the Senate. Breaking, Vice President Harris is calling for the elimination of the Senate filibuster to codify the protections of Roe v. Wade. She made this announcement in an interview with Wisconsin Public Radio. Now, of course, we know that Democrats don't want to just codify the protections of Roe versus Wade. Their aim is to make unfettered baby killing legal across the nation. Now, that's the writer's words, not mine, but it's kind of accurate. This isn't the first time she made this kind of statement. She said something similar on X, used the vice presidential account in 2022, shortly after the Dobbs decision struck down Roe. Here's the tweet. We have to codify Roe versus Wade into law. If the filibuster gets in the way, the Senate needs to make an exception to get this done. So we're going to change our rules just to do what I want you to do. Unless you think Harris would only abuse the filibuster just to kill babies, you've got another thing coming. During her blink and you missed it 2020 presidential campaign, she suggested dumping the filibuster to pass the Green New Deal. So anyway, reminder, anytime politicians want to do some sort of new deal, it's a bad deal for everybody else. So she wants, yes, so who's the threat to democracy? Well, she's a threat to the republic. Now, other news, and we're just going to skim through these and get through them quickly. Judge has blocked Biden's plan to give $37 billion in construction contracts to women and minorities. Now, the headline, if you just read the headline, it's like, wait a minute, they're not going to allow women and minorities to have the contracts? No. The problem is, a federal judge this week ruled against the program that allocated $37 billion in federal road contracts for business owned by women and racial minorities, raising questions about the future of a decades-old affirmative action program. Since the 1980s, the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program has required around 10% of federal dollars allocated for road construction contracts to go to women and certain racial minorities. The Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, which Biden signed in 2021, reauthorized the DBE, Disadvantaged Business Enterprises Act, and sets aside $37 billion for eligible recipients. This year, 2 small businesses sued the Transportation Department, saying the DBE program caused them to lose out on business. On Monday, Judge Gregory Van Tatenhove, I guess that's how you say it, ruled that the Biden-Harris administration could not enforce the DBE's affirmative action quotas against the businesses. So, some businesses that were going to get in on some of these contracts but did not have enough women or minorities on their board, because remember, sometimes these companies will hire people just so that they can say, or bring on partners just so that they can say they're a women and minority owned business. So it can be a bit of a racket. In fact, if I had money to burn or spare or invested, I certainly should go volunteer being on the board or directors or ownership of all these companies that get minority contracts, because then they could say, well, Marty's a brother, he's part of a company, right? And that's kind of how it is with like California requiring that every company have a diversity board by, I think, 2030. Every company that corporation that does business in California or does business with the state of California has to have either a woman or minority, or no, and they must have, I think 30% of the board must be female. Like, they're making that a requirement. Like, so look, if I was some rich white lady or rich black lady or whatever, I would just volunteer to be on every board of directors of every company in California, and they would have to pay me a stipend just to make that, just so they can be in compliance with the California law. There's going to be very few people who are going to be tapped to be on many, many corporate boards because of this. So it's just crazy. Is there a travel warning to Lebanon right now? I mean, other than Bibi telling citizens to get the hell out. I do not know. I haven't seen that article yet. So anyway, Daily Wire, the feds arrest the son of would-be Trump assassin on child. No, you can read it on the screen. I'm not going to say it because this is YouTube, and for some reason that turn of phrase causes problems for your channel. But who would have thunk this? The guy who tried to kill Trump, his son is in trouble for that particular phraseology. In Daily Caller, authorities charge a man with attempting to assassinate Trump. That's about Ralph. They've charged him now. I guess the charging documents are available to the public. Mostly they're charging on firearms charges, but the letter that the DOJ released the other day that basically invited more people to come carry the bounty or collect the bounty on Trump. I guess that letter, you can expect that there will be further charges pending besides just the illegal possession of firearms charge. Daily Caller, Alan Dershowitz says Fed may not be able to prosecute would-be Trump assassin for attempted assassination because, well, he never fired a shot, but we'll see, because he did write that letter. I haven't read this one, so I'm going to skip it. Daily Wire. Oh, in Chicago, there are Chicago gang members who are getting a little pissed off about all the illegal immigrants coming and taking American jobs. Apparently, now, a lot of it is former gang members too, right? But, by the way, good morning, Unacceptable Views and Richard Head. What up, Dick? How you doing? So, Chicago gang members and ex-convicts are warning of a coming violent turf wars with newly arrived Venezuelan migrants who are part of the notorious gang Tren de Tren de Aragua, or TDA. Not unlike other cities across the country, Chicago has been inundated with migrants as the border crisis rages on. Since 2022, an estimated 48,000 migrants have come into the city, with the majority of the new migrant arrivals hailing from Venezuela. So the black gangs and the former gang members are getting pissed off because all these Venezuelan gangs are starting to establish themselves in the south side of Chicago. Sometimes they're taking over entire vacant buildings. And the other problem is, and this is the thing, right now, so the United States has all these illegal border crossers that are being distributed around the United States, right? And unlike the immigrants of the early 1900s, the give me you're tired, you're poor, the Ellis Island immigrants, right? Unlike those immigrants, the United States of America is paying the bill for all the illegal immigrants that are coming now. So when they say the word asylum, and then they process them, and then they send them to these cities. But then the cities and municipalities are all paying for the services and food and housing and transportation and cell phones for all these illegal immigrants, illegal border crossers, right? And that's not the same as happened in the early 1900s with the Ellis Island, give me you're tired, you're poor immigrants, right? Those immigrants had to pay their own way. Legal immigrants have to pay their own way. Legal immigrants have to go get a job and pay their own. They're not coming here and getting on these migrant hotels where they're feeding and clothing them, giving them $5,000 of Visa gift cards and shit. That's the difference. And the people who say that, oh, well, this doesn't affect you. You complain about immigration, but it doesn't affect you. Well, whose tax dollars pays for that shit? Oh, I know. I forgot. The government could just keep printing money. And so either way, whether it's coming from tax dollars or if they're printing money to do it, it's costing us, because it's costing us inflation. The big problem in Springfield, it's not just the Haitians and whether or not they're eating fucking cats and geese. It's the fact that because the federal government or whatever government entity is paying for their housing, the landlords can make more money by housing the immigrants who are getting free money to do it. And so they kick out the people, they don't renew leases with people, and they make 3 times as much because the people who they're replacing them with get free money. And when you have free money, you could certainly pay a lot more because it's not yours anyway. No one gives a shit. Or you can house, 17 people in a house made with 4 bedrooms because you can charge them individually their portion of some rent and make 3 to 4 times as much on your rental property. So who does that hurt? Well, it hurts the people who already live there because they now have to find someplace else to live, but the rents are jacked up by 3 times. And because some of these people are getting free driver's license and having accidents and breaking shit all the time, the insurance rates in the town, because there's a rash of car crashes, the insurance rates for the entire town go up. My understanding is about twice as much now. All the insurance companies have raised insurance rates by 2 or 3 times because there's so many accidents in the area now that they have to cover. And guess what? Most of the people are getting the free cars from the government probably don't even have insurance, and they have they think the learner's permit, they think that's their driver's license. So most times they don't even have licenses. That's the problem. And guess what? The gangs in the south side of Chicago are pissed. And because the Tren de Araguas are getting government assistance to live here even. But they're starting to take over shit that the Chicago gangs used to have. So there's gonna be a major turf war in Chicago. You think there's been people dying over the last 10 years? Oh boy! It says right here, When the black gangs here are fed up with the illegalities and the criminal activities of these migrants or non-citizens, the city of Chicago is going to go up in flames, and there will be nothing the National Guard or the government can do about it when the bloodshed hits the streets. Tyrone Muhammad, an ex-con and former gang member, told the New York Post it'll be blacks against migrants. Members of TDA are now taking over Chicago turf. Residents said they're also receiving robust welfare benefits, further angering residents and gang members who say the money should be going to Chicago citizens who are suffering. The real issue is that America has allowed gangs to enter our country. A former gang member told the Post they let terrorist groups into our country. What the fuck are they doing over there in Washington? Also, the Daily Wire. Apparently, Soros-backed organizations leverage waves of new immigrants to sway elections. Now, here you go. This is one of the themes. Naturalize 2 million by 2022. That was from, in fact, there were, what was it? They were trying to do a mass, not amnesty, but there was I can't remember what group it was, but they were trying to get them naturalized citizens in a hurry before the next election. I read about it somewhere. But a network of left-wing organizations backed by billionaire George Soros is working to naturalize and mobilize immigrants and refugees in order to activate them as voting blocs in swing states, boasting that they could sway the outcome of national, state, and local elections. Chief among these groups is National Partnership for New Americans, which describes itself as a national, multi-ethnic, multiracial partnership network of over 60 of the country's leading immigrant and refugee rights organizations. The group received just over $500,000 from George Soros Open Society Foundation over the last 5 years, or from 2016 to 2021, and the group had a total revenue of $4.11 million in 2023. Gee, is this a strategy? I can't. It must be a strategy. By the way, the U.S. federal debt is now 100% of GDP. I have several other articles here today, but you'll just have to see what they are. Well, let's go through headlines. I'll just headlines only. Okay, I'm not elaborating on anything for now. Illegal insurrection. Last full-size Kmart in the United States is closing in October. That's the end of an era. I remember when I was a kid, Kmart was a big thing. It was where you went to buy cheap stuff, but there was a Kmart. 2 or 3 Kmarts in every city. The last Kmart is closing in October. Now, that has to be more on just changes in retail, Walmart and Amazon and everything, pushing out Kmarts. No more blue light specials, you're right. Breitbart's shock consumer confidence unexpectedly plummets. Worst decline in 3 years. Uh-oh. Well, will she be unburdened by what has been? I don't know. I think we need to burden her by what is. And she is part of the administration that this consumer confidence unexpectedly plummeted. Maybe it's because no one's grocery bills are going down, even though they keep saying, we've lowered inflation. Oh, no, you haven't. Shut up, fuckers. Legal insurrection. Harris spokesman can't answer if Americans are better off now than 4 years ago. Now, that's weird because all they got to do is bring up the pandemic, but this was on, this is CNN. But I've seen this before where even the Harris spokesmen are flummoxed by this particular question. In Daily Caller, Trump floats massive tariffs on John Deere if manufacturing shifts to Mexico. He has said that if they move their operations to Mexico, they're going to put a 200% tariff on anything they try to sell in the United States from those plants. Now, is that a good strategy by Trump? Think John Deere will think twice about doing that? I know it worked with the automakers. And, that's interesting. Now, think about this as if you're an American worker, especially working for John Deere. Would you applaud Trump trying to save your job? And I think that's one of the reasons a lot of union members go, Trump, not so bad, huh? Not so bad. And John Deere's slimebags. Yeah, they got caught up in that the LGBTQ stuff big time. Here you go. And also an illegal insurrection. 8 House Democrats vote to pull the plug on Biden's electric vehicle rule. Meanwhile, the Harris campaign is silent on climate policy, which is odd because Harris was a tie-breaking vote in the Inflation Reduction Act. That was in reality a Green New Deal that brought policies like the electric vehicle mandate. So their 8 House Democrats voted with the GOP to overturn the Biden administration rule that forces automakers to make a significant portion of their fleet electric. Now, probably one of the reasons for that is because the next one in Issues and Insights, the EV graveyard. Last week, the House approved a resolution to block the Biden administration's emissions rule that would require more than half of the automobiles sold in the new car market to be electric by 2032. Well, part of the problem is because nationwide, the inventory of unsold electric vehicles has grown by 350% over the last first half of 2024, creating a 92-day supply, roughly 3 months worth of EVs, and that's nearly twice the industry average. In other words, people aren't buying the damn cars. They're still buying Teslas, but I don't see a whole lot of others. Teslas and Rivians. Is that what it's called? Rivian? Hilton closes a 56-year-old hotel in crime-ridden Oakland. It's probably crime-related and economics-related, but the Hilton Hotel in Oakland, California, that's been in business for more than half a century, is shutting its doors with their now jobless workers citing out-of-control crime rates. You read about that, MRC TV, legal insurrection. Harris supports ending the filibuster for abortion legislation. We've already talked about that. In Washington Free Beacon, John Tester, the Montana senator and Senate candidate, apparently took a private meeting with pole dancer to talk about abortion. The graphic there, that's concerning. But anyway, every vote counts. That's especially true for Montana Democrat John Tester, who faces the toughest Senate re-election race in the country this November, which may help explain why he privately met with a professional pole dancer earlier this month. Okay, John, that might get you a few votes in Montana. I don't know. A lot of lonely guys up there. Daily Caller, Republican state senator paves the way for Trump to possibly lose a single electoral vote. Okay, so that idea in Nebraska of making it, instead of having the split electoral votes, they do that in Nebraska and Maine. Apparently one state senator voted against it, and so they're not going to, one Republican senator state, so they're not going to change how they do things in Nebraska. So it could make it possible, theoretically possible, for Trump to lose the election by one electoral vote. In Breitbart, they're looking at Kamala's middle-class childhood, weekends in Palo Alto, private school, trips to Jamaica. Yeah, that's pretty middle class. Summer job, and touting a summer job at McDonald's that no one really knows if she actually worked for McDonald's. And claiming to be from Oakland. That's the other funny thing. Oakland, large blue-collar city with a large black population. No, she lived in Palo Alto. Or not Palo Alto. She lived in Berkeley. She lived in Berkeley. In fact, when she was talking about she was one of those kids bused to school in the busing during the 70s? Yeah, she was bused from the rich part of town to the other part of town. She wasn't bused into a white school. She was, she's so full of shit. It's amazing. PJ Media, law enforcement group backing Kamala Harris, exposed as a sham. Apparently, here it is, leading national law enforcement group endorses Harris and Walz. Yeah, apparently it's an AstroTurf campaign. They're referring to the Police Leaders for Community Safety, which was founded in March of this year. It's a fake group. It's not real. They didn't even exist until a few months ago. Even USA Today noted in its report that the Police Leaders for Community Safety organization was created in June 2024 as a nonpartisan 501c3 and describes itself as an organization that represents dozens of police officials. They don't represent anybody. What's this? Free Beacon. Hang on. My computer's freezing. There we go. Oh, no. I didn't mean to close that. Open that tab back up. Reopen, close tab. Washington Free Beacon has revealed House candidate Real Wallins uses actors to portray a cop and judge in a campaign ad and alleges exaggeration of tough on crime chops. There's a lot of fake shit going in some of these ads. Okay, there's like 5 more, but I don't have time. I gotta go. Hey, let me drop these links in the or drop these links to these articles in the chat here shortly. Did I do that right? Yeah, I did. Okay, there we go. All right, there we go. And there we go. Share the page. Because I got to go. Hey, thanks for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I'm here to give you the news of the day, trying to get you up to speed. Selecta Boy, I see you there.
Yeah, boy.
I'll be back tomorrow doing the same shit like I do every day because so much of this is shit. But I hope I will do it with a smile, and hopefully you'll enjoy the fact that this, oh, God damn it, this fucking thing. It's making me do that thing. Thankfully, I have the chat open over here. Here's today's links. There you go. That's it. I got to go. I'll be back tomorrow doing the same stuff that we do. We get caught up in the news, and hopefully I make some snarky comments once in a while, or my head explodes. One of the two. But that's it. I got to go. Thank you. My name is P-Dog Night, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. What's wrong with my computer? There we go. Hey, this is P-Dog Night, and thanks for watching today on the P-Dog Night channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Night, and I'm out of here.